Hey guys, welcome back to Jamie Network. Today, the blankets are on, the popcorn is set, nutritious water, and whatever this channel is that makes all these horror stories is on the screen, I guess. So today we're entering the dark parts of YouTube and watching My Daughter is Strange. I mean, like, how strange can our daughter be? Come on. Anyways.
This is the story of my 6-year-old daughter, Riley. She was a good girl, but one day she started acting strangely. One day at dawn, she suddenly looked out the window and started howling like a wolf.
Okay.
When I asked why, she said that there was a wolf spirit outside and she was talking with the wolf. Mom, the wolf says that our house is where dead souls gather. I got goosebumps, but I just passed it over, thinking it wouldn't be a big deal.
How do you pass that over? Like, your daughter's like 6.
Again. Suddenly, she looked into the air and talked to someone, drew a strange-looking monster on her notebook, and said it was her friend. The monster was a very terrifying
Yo, I'd be friends with that guy.
6 eyes and 6 limbs that looked as if 3 humans were combined together. And it possibly could not have been drawn.
What is that face? Come on.
I tried to scold her, and I tried to talk her out of it, but she never got better. One day, on my way to work, I told her that I would be coming in late because I need to work overtime. Then she said, Mom, I have so many friends at home, so I'm not lonely. I ended up taking her to a psychiatrist, but even the doctor couldn't figure out exactly why she was behaving like this. Then one day, she suddenly handed me some bread and asked me to eat it. The moment I picked up the bread and put it in my mouth, I recognized that something red was all over the bread. I asked in surprise, Sweetie, what is this? She said, It's hamster blood. Kevin told me to give it to you. My heart sank, and I looked at the hamster cage in her room and found that the hamster was dead. I was so shocked and angry,
I don't think I
grabbed her and yelled, Who is Kevin? Why are you doing this? I yelled at the top of my lungs, and she pointed to the wall next to me and said, That's Kevin. His jaw is down to the ground, and his mouth is 5 feet wide. He's looking at you and drooling, and his saliva is like jelly. And Kevin's mouth is full of dead animals and dead people because he can't digest anything since he has no organs. He says he wants to eat you too. I got goosebumps, grabbed her hand, and ran out of the house right away. Then I got in the car and sped like crazy until I got to a Catholic church in the neighborhood. I frantically searched for the priest and explained everything without hesitation. Then the priest thought for a moment and said, Your daughter has made friends with sinister spirits. Your daughter won't get hurt, but the people around her will be in danger. I will say my prayers for Riley. The priest held her and prayed the rosary for a long time, and she mocked the prayer or shouted it at the priest in an unknown language. I was really embarrassed and couldn't believe all this, but there was no other way, so I continued to visit the priest after that. After visiting the church dozens of times, surprisingly, Riley gradually came back to normal. She no longer stared into space, talked to herself, or did anything strange. I was so happy, and now my family could live a normal life. I didn't go to the church anymore, and after a few months like that, one day, Riley looked into the air again and shouted, Mom, the priest is here! I was surprised and asked her, The priest? Why is he here? Then Riley pointed into the air, and there was nothing she was pointing at, and she said with a bright smile, Here he is in Kevin's mouth!
Okay.
This is an eerie experience I had when I was in my early 20s, about 10 years ago. At that time, I was looking for a place to live independently, and I found a very cheap place and signed the contract right away. However, on the first day I entered the house, I saw a note on the front door that said, No one has stayed in this house for more than a month. Good luck. I thought it was just a funny prank by someone, so I started living in the house, and a few days later, I saw something through my bedroom window to the neighboring house's window. It was the silhouette of a person shaking back and forth. When I looked closer, a woman was hanging from several ropes attached to the ceiling, suspended in the air, staring at me in a relaxed posture. Although I felt a bit eerie, I just thought, there's a strange person living next door. I looked away and didn't pay much attention. However, after a while, I looked at the window again out of curiosity, and she was still there, smiling slightly and staring at me intently. I closed the curtains and felt strange afterwards. From then on, I didn't open the curtains for a few days because I felt like she would still be there, suspended in the air and staring at me. One day, I heard a knock on the front door. I opened it without much thought, and she was standing there. I was surprised, and she asked me, "Why don't you open the curtains?" I was taken back, but pretended to be nonchalant and replied, "I just don't usually look outside my window." Then she started singing, "You have to open the curtains so you can see me. Open the curtains."
Why would I want to see you, little girl?
Quickly closed the door. I hesitated. Should I call the police? But I didn't want to complicate things. I just left the curtains open because I feared that she would return to my house. Then she appeared again, hanging on the ropes with a pleased expression. She swayed back and forth while staring at me intensely. I stared at her for a while, feeling dazed, and then I quickly closed the curtains and drank some cold water. Somehow, I started to feel strange then. She was definitely an odd person, but I felt a strange attraction towards her, although I didn't know why. The next day, I opened the curtains again, but she was no longer there. Only the ropes were hanging there. I waited for her all day, but she didn't appear, and she didn't show up for a few days. I eventually went to her house and knocked on her door. She opened the door and invited me in. Her house was filled with countless ropes hanging from the ceiling, which was a bit eerie, but I didn't think much of it. She was very skilled at maneuvering the ropes, gliding around the house like she was flying. Then she said to me, "You should try it too, it's really fun." The ropes were hanging very high, which made me a bit scared, but I decided to follow her and climbed onto the ropes. But at that moment, I lost my balance and fell backwards, screaming in pain as I hit the ground. Something was off though. She just looked down at me with a cheerful expression, not helping me or showing any concern. It was as if she was simply watching me. It sent shivers down my spine, and I quickly left her house, returning home.
What were you thinking go over there in the first place?
And them again. A few days later, she came to my house and knocked on the door. I didn't open it, but she continued to sing outside endlessly. I thought she was a psychopath and decided to move.
Mama's looking real good right now.
Afterward, however, I heard on the news about a man who moved into that house. Shortly after he moved in, he fell from a rope at the house of the woman next door and died of a concussion. The police ruled it as an accidental death, and the woman was cleared of all charges, but I couldn't help but wonder if he fell on his own, or was it something that she had planned? Only she knows the truth. After that day, I never heard any news about that house or the woman again. Time has passed, but I still wonder, is she still riding ropes there? And is someone still hanging on the ropes she made?
Well, I don't know what kind of unhappy paradise they were living in because it never had sunshine once. Anyways, if y'all enjoyed this scary video, get this video to 5 likes and we will do another. 10? No, not 10 likes. He's crazy. 5 likes and we'll do another video. Now, I'm going to go hide in fear as